Hi, fourth graders. It's Mrs. Smith, and you have been working on your fiction stories the last 2 weeks. Last week, you really worked on figuring out your setting, figuring out your characters, figuring out your problem and solution, and your beginning, middle, and end. And this week, you've been working on your rough draft on Monday and Tuesday. And yesterday, you worked on revising your lead or hook sentence to grab your reader's attention. Well, today, you're going to focus in on something you did in the beginning of the year when we were working on fiction stories called Show, Don't Tell. And Mrs. Sears went through and showed you and modeled some sentences that she had in her story. An example was he was in his bedroom. And she said, instead of just saying this is the setting, you could describe it. Books were stacked on his desk, clothes were strewn across the floor, and the bed covers were in a pile at the foot of the bed. He cleared a path from the door to his dresser. We know all these little clues are helping your reader know that he is in his bedroom. She also mentioned how you could describe how they jumped in a pool. Instead of saying that, the smell of sunblock lingered in the air as I threw my towel to the closest lounge chair. I tossed my cover up and landed on the deck. Within moments, I could feel the cool water cover me as I jumped from the ledge. That last sentence really brings that you know that person's in a pool. Mrs. Sears also asked for you to describe how you could describe how she went to school. What were some clues to help your reader? You can use figurative language. You could use lots of adjectives. You could use vivid verbs like lingered, strewn across the floor. All these words help your reader know and can be able to picture in their mind what you're saying. Your directions for today are to find 2 different telling sentences in your rough draft. I'm going to show you the rough draft we've been working on in 4th grade that Miss Kay introduced on Monday. You can make a choice. You can either change the color of your font when you make your show not don't tell sentences. You can change your font to something different, or you can highlight, and that's what I did. I will also be able to go back in and be able to see how you change that in your writing. So here's my sample. From the beginning on Monday, you heard the story Miss Kay read with no changes. Then yesterday, the changes were you changing the lead or hook sentence. Here's an example of the change lead sentence. We have pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. On a July morning, Mary glanced out the window and looked at the gray clouds hanging low in the sky. I changed the color of my font so you could see that's where I made a change. I'm going to continue reading so you remember the story. Mary was cuddled on the couch with her dog. Swish, swish, swish. Sam was hitting his tail on Mary's arm. Do you want to go outside, Sam? Although it was drizzling, she wanted to take Sam out before it was really raining hard. Mary went into the garage and noticed the leash was not hanging on the wall. Uh-oh. Bark, 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 Sam said, and he really wanted to go outside. Mary took him outside without a leash. This is giving us a little prediction of what we know is going to happen. Sam was very excited to go outside. Mary and Sam began walking down the sidewalk towards the park. The rain began to fall harder and harder. Mary called to Sam, but he wouldn't turn around. Mary walked over to grab Sam by the collar and was shocked to see him run towards the park after a squirrel. Mary tried to catch up to Sam, but he was too quick. He ran across the street and straight into the park. Mary was scared and worried that she would not be able to catch Sam. She ran as fast as she could to try and catch him. I highlighted these 2 sentences, and the reason I did, and I could have highlighted different ones, but I'm only choosing to pick 2 sentences in my writing that are telling sentences. That's all you're going to do today is pick 2 different sentences. I'm first going to work on the rain began to fall harder and harder. When doing show not tell, that's a telling sentences, you have to add on more details. What can you see? What can you feel? What can you possibly hear? Showing is really great when we even add figurative language, lots of descriptive adjectives, and those vivid verbs are more action verbs. Here are some examples of things I could add. I didn't add all of them into my writing, but I'm going to show you some things that I brainstorm, and that's what I would have you do. Write down your telling sentence, and then see what other things you could do to add to it. You might use all of them. You might only use 3 of them. See what you can come up with. Here's what I came up. The rain began to fall harder harder and harder is my telling sentence. Here are some examples of showing. Here's my first word. Mrs. Spears mentioned, what can you see? I could see dark clouds formed in the graying skies. What could I feel? Droplets of moisture. What else could I feel? Dripping off the leaves, sprinkling on the grass like a hose in a sprinkler. Not only is that what I could feel, but it's also using figurative language. What else could I see? The intensity picked up, like an ocean's wave coming crashing down on Mary. Also figurative language. A simile. What could I hear? A wall of rain moved over a maple tree and sounded like a drum on a tree's canopy. I might use all of these. I might use some of these. I might edit some of what I wrote. Here's what I did. Remember, the sentence was, the rain began to fall harder and harder. This is what I changed it to, using all of my brainstorming of what I could see, feel, hear, and another example would be maybe possibly smell. Sam was very excited to go outside. Mary and Sam began walking down the sidewalk towards the park. At first, droplets of moisture danced on Mary's face as she walked under the canopy of trees along the sidewalk. Drops picked up pace, dripping off the leaves like a hose on a sprinkler. As the intensity of moisture increased, the wall of rain moved over the tree's canopy like a drum being pounded on. The tree's canopy barely kept Mary protected with how fast the drops fell down. Drenched from the rain, Mary called to Sam, but he wouldn't turn around. It continues on, and Mary picked up the pace to grab Sam by the collar, and she was shocked to see him. And it said run, and I changed it to dart, towards the park after the squirrel. The other thing that I picked to change was Mary was scared and worried that she would not be able to catch Sam. Mrs. Spears mentioned in the video that it would be one thing you could change would be possible feelings, scared and worried. I brainstormed some words that and what I might see or feel when I'm scared or worried. Might feel my heart racing. I might feel my chest tightening. You almost feel that stress and when you're feeling worried about something. I might hear rapid breathing rapidly. Your breath increases. I might see your face draining color. I might see that someone's trembling, which is shaking. I might, probably not going to see, I would feel my stomach lurching. Here's what I came up with. Remember, it just said that she was scared and worried. He ran across the street and straight into the park. The color from Mary's face drained, and she appeared ghostly white. Mary's heart raced. Boom, boom, boom. She could feel her chest tightening and lump in the back of her throat felt like she was suffocating. Her breath increased rapidly as she sprinted towards Sam. Would she be able to catch him? Or would he be gone forever? Mary thought to herself. She ran as fast as she could to try and catch him. Notice I did not edit and revise any other parts in the story. I'm only focusing on 2. That's what your teacher is going to be looking for. 2 different parts that you tried to use show not tell. You will continue working on these rough drafts. You'll be continuing each day to change something else in your rough draft. At this point, they are not final. And this is not, it's never going to be perfect. You're always something you can do. What are you going to do? You are going to open your rough draft. You are going to reread your rough draft. You are going to highlight 2 different places you are telling. Places to look. Maybe you just said you were sad. You showed feelings. Maybe you saw there was some kind of weather involved in your story, like ours about the rain. Maybe it was about a setting. Maybe you're at the beach. Instead of saying the beach, maybe you could describe how the sand is between your toes. You're going to brainstorm some clues for your readers. For example, I wrote worried and scared. What was I feeling, hearing, seeing, and smelling? I didn't do smelling. You could, you don't have to. Rain. What can you feel, hear, see, or smell? You're going to expand your sentences. And then when you are finished, you're going to find your 2 sentences. You're going to either change the color of your font, change your font, or highlight your font like I did, just so your teacher knows where you change. Remember, you're looking for what can you see, feel, hear, or smell. Your teacher will be able to see where you change your writing based on the font. Good luck and have a great day, and we can't wait to see the 2 parts in your story that you changed for showing and you're not telling. Excellent job. Can't wait to read them. Take care.